remember prior to becoming widowed, people would say this is a hard time for people who, have lost people. And I'd be like, I get it.
Yeah.
But still, I didn't really get it until I got it, right?
Yeah.
And so I did not understand how you couldn't be joyful around this time of year, But now I get it.
Yeah.
It's hard as heck because it's a memory that there's an empty chair there.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Heartprints of Loss podcast with your favorite trio.
Hey.
We are so grateful you are back with us.
Yes.
It is that time of year, y'all.
Yeah. Holidays
The
are coming up.
holidays are upon us.
Woo, woo, woo.
Woo. And what does that mean for someone that has lost a special person?
Well, it means a whole lot because we can't celebrate those times with the people that we love. It's bringing back memories. Could be triggering for some. Some people just not simply in the mood.
Right.
Sadness, overwhelming,
Yep. It's hard.
frustrating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard.
A lot of different emotions, come into play when certain days, when these holidays coming about.
Yeah, there's an empty chair at the table.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
For
It's
sure.
an empty chair at the table. I remember
And
our
so
first.
it's a memory that someone's not
that's-
there.
Someone's not there.
Yeah.
And of course, the guilt rushes in, especially in early grief. Like you're actually having or celebrating.
Yeah. You
per
don't wanna do
se.
anything.
You don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
I know my first Thanksgiving, I went to his family's house, and I nearly vomit. Like my stomach was turning.
Oh my gosh.
And
Same.
I was numbed. I was just distraught, I didn't want to be there. And there were moments where, I did laugh here and there. Jokes was made, people brought up memories or asked me to share memories. But it was too early. It was too early for me to appreciate or feel any gratefulness
Right.
at anything. And that's okay,
Yeah,
right? But,
absolutely.
yeah, it was a full panic attack
Yeah.
session.
I remember thinking, because I love the holidays and I'm just all about gratitude and being a blessing. And it's just such a beautiful time of year. And I remember prior to becoming widowed, people would say this is a hard time for people who, have lost people. And I'd be like, I get it.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
I didn't really get it
Until you got it.
until I got it, right?
Yeah.
And so I did not understand how you couldn't be joyful around this time of year, But now I get it.
Yeah.
It's hard as heck because it's a memory that there's an empty chair there, that your special person is not celebrating these new memories with you. And then everything reminds you of what you no longer have, right? Like going to the grocery store and then you see all the families together and they're laughing and they're buying Thanksgiving dinner or buying holiday gifts. And you're just like, oh, I remember when that was my family,
Yeah.
and now it's not. And that hurts. And it
Hurts.
can be so triggering.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. It's just really, really difficult. So how did y'all do? I heard you say the first year you went to your family's, in-laws.
Yeah.
I feel like initially I tried to maintain the same lifestyle and the normalcy for my kids and do things the way that we would do them, right? So we too went to my in-laws because that's what we always did for Thanksgiving. And that was the worst decision ever. Like it was so hard. It was only a few months after he had passed.
Yeah.
And everybody was just so sad. And we were just like, I don't even remember if we even ate. You know what I mean? Everyone was just sad. And it was just dark and gloomy, and we didn't celebrate. And again, I love Thanksgiving. I love Christmas. They're my two favorite, especially, Thanksgiving with family. It's just, and it was just like the worst. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. Like, I, I value and I want to keep some of the same traditions that we do.
Yeah.
But it's also okay to create new
ones.
traditions and do different things
Yeah.
and figure out how you can honor your loved one and create new memories, in their honor and with them alongside of you.
Yeah.
But not doing the same thing if it's going to crush you, which I felt like happened to us that very first year. And then Christmas, I was like, I'm not doing that for Christmas, because we did, we usually went to the in-laws. We would open gifts at our house and then go to the in-laws. So I'm like, y'all got to come to our house or something. And that was me. Still very early. Everyone's still sad. The next year we tried Thanksgiving for the very first time at my house. And I was sick for Thanksgiving. I was like in bed, couldn't even get out of bed. And then last year we did something totally different for both holidays. We had friends over my house for Thanksgiving. We kind of had a Friendsgiving. It was not traditional at all. We invited family too, but it was us hosting and me and my girlfriends and my sister, And then we traveled for Christmas, and we met my sister and her family and my besties in Miami, and had like a totally different Christmas. And I loved every bit of it, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
good.
Yeah, the kids not so much. They liked a little more traditional. So we're still trying to figure
Figure
all
it
that to
out.
say we're still trying to figure out what works for us, how we're gonna do the holidays, and what it's gonna look like. It may look different every single year, but have grace and be flexible and figure out what works for you now.
Like that's the same. Like the first year that my husband passed away, like I think we went over to my grandmother's house, my sons and I. But it was just like how I try to do things like it's just another day. Like I tried to like push it out, like it's just another day.
minimize.
We're not trying to, you know what I mean? And then for the Christmas, my son, he was like, I don't even want it. Like he opened his stuff the day before. I was like, that's fine. Like he like, I don't want to do it no more, Mom. And then like I kind of was trying to do stuff for Ahmad, and then that's when my son got murdered. So then the fall, it just was like a double whammy. And then I tried to just like not even talk about no holidays, because Ahmad, he about 4, you know what I mean? But going to preschool and stuff like that, they talk about the holidays and stuff. So I'm like, he's like, Mom, do I get gifts or something? I'm like, you know about this stuff? Like, he was like, well, yeah, like Santa's
Like
gonna bring.
holidays don't exist.
Yeah. Because I'm like, my mom came down,
Yeah.
and my cousin came down. Like they were at my house, but I was like, I don't want to do any. Like, I don't got my son. Definitely, I don't got nobody. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I still have my baby, but I mean, he's young, so I'm thinking I could start like pass it. And he's like, just said, I'm like, you believe in this? like, I'm like, oh my God, let me hurry up and order gifts. And like the day before, I'm trying to like have like Amazon just send all of this stuff, because I really was not in the mood.
Yeah.
I was not in the mood. And then my cousin, I remember like for the holiday, she like, let's cook or something. I always tell people, I have to see how I feel. And you know what I mean? And my aunt, she always get like a beach house. So like the last year, I think, she like, just come and just see. You know, I'm like, as long as we're not like, oh, happy Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like, but she, like, everybody respects it. So we cook and stuff, but I really I wasn't like acknowledging the holiday. It's just, I'm with my family, I'm with my dad and my aunt and them, having us a good time, walk along the beach, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. But, I really was doing my best to just I'm like, this is just another day. It's not going to affect me. You know what I mean? I told you about the one year when I said that, they was like, are you making yourself feel like this? And I was like, what? No, like, I can't make myself, like, it's like emotions that come different times. You know what I mean? This holiday, I might not be so sad, or I might just, want to cook a whole meal.
Right.
But I have to see how I feel, because I just never know. Like, it hits me different every year.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I think that's important for our listeners to know, please still invite us to the holiday party.
Don't
please
not invite
still
us.
invite us to holiday dinner. And I may RSVP, but when it comes down to it, I may not feel like it.
Yeah.
I just might not have the gusto that day.
Right.
So don't be offended. Don't take it personal, and give us that space and that grace to be able to just not do it, because I just am not into it right now.
Yeah, I know in my second year last year for Christmas, I spent Christmas in Paris. So I was there for 2 weeks. And I didn't realize like France is so big with Christmas. So my cousin and I, which, you know, his cousin, we did like a whole kind of countryside tour of France, and we did all the Christmas markets. When I say like, wow, like I kind of felt the joy back a little bit. I I remember taking a moment and just standing. We were visiting one of the Christmas markets, and I just stood there and just took a deep breath. I'm like, you know, this is possible. Like I can feel joy again during the holidays. So it was important for me. I mean, I know the holidays will never be the same.
Right.
Brian was he loved Thanksgiving. He was a gift giver. He loved Christmas. He loves all the lights and all of those things. And it could be very triggering. It is very triggering. But I wanted to create a new tradition for the holidays. And I know I had to accept that it's not going to be the same.
Right.
But I also am very intentional where I go, because there are some places that I know if I go, I would still feel very sad and lonely.
Right.
I went last year to my mom and, you know, to be with my son and my mom for Thanksgiving, and got there 8. My mom left to a party. My son was like, I'm out to somewhere. And I was left alone. And I remember just sobbing.
Right.
I was sitting in a dark room alone. Nobody was in the house.
Yeah.
I went and ate, and they just left.
Yeah.
You know, but that's because they didn't know how to really show up, and it wasn't malice or anything.
Right.
I just remember feeling so alone, and I told myself, I'm not doing this again.
Right.
Yeah.
I am not going to go places where I know I'm going to be left feeling so empty and not even poured into.
Wow. Yeah.
I felt like I wasn't even considered.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
But I believe that now in the, you know, going into our 4th year, right? Without them here, I've learned some things about myself. I've learned where not to go, and it's very important for me to create new traditions and new memories. That's very important for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think I think that's really key, you know, not being afraid to try new things. Not being afraid to create new memories. And just, you know, doing what feels right and what
feels right for you and best for you.
Yeah.
That's what my mom and I, we were talking about it. We were like, we're going to just create a day. And we're gonna just do something, like it don't have to, you know what I mean? Because sometimes, you know, like we say, those days are triggering. So if we create our own day, and this is the day we're gonna do like something with the, you know, the family or something, do that, and then I like being alone, like, but I always think about my son that I have left, and last year he goes back home to Ohio, and I let him go so I want him to enjoy family, because it's just him and I, right? So I'm like, I'll be like, I want him to have some fun. I want him to see his family. So, and just be around love. Not saying like I'm not loved, but you know, to have his family. So my mom, she'll get him, and she got him the last 2 years, actually, because it's been 5 years and 4 years. Yeah. So last year she ended up going to Virginia, and like I had like him some gifts and stuff, and she was like, oh, he was like, Mom, I want to see you, and I was like, all right, because I was in Atlanta, and I was like, all right. So I just end up like literally just driving to Virginia, and he didn't even know I was coming. And I'm like, so he probably did want to be, you know what I mean? But I'm just so really about protecting him and wanting him to feel something, and just have a lot of people, like have people around. And then he had a good time and opened some gifts and stuff like that. And then the year before, my mom got him and had him the whole time, and I just was in the bed, and I didn't get out the bed. I didn't do anything. And half the time I power my phone off.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think something that people, and I know it to be true when we all got together that very first year, is it's like this elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about. And, nobody wants to say their name or like acknowledge that we're all sad because he or she is missing or we miss this person.
Yeah.
So something that I think is important for everyone to know is if you're thinking you don't want to say anything because you don't want to hurt our feelings, we're thinking about it. And we like talking about our person.
We do.
And it probably makes good sense to, or, it would probably feel better if you just acknowledged it and talked about your person and maybe even start a tradition where you guys say a good memory,
share a memory,
share a memory before you pray for dinner or something, share a nice memory. So it breaks the ice of like the pain of what we all know to be true.
And it still incorporate them somehow.
Yes.
Right? Like you feel like there's this,
they're still there.
They're still here, right? They're a part of this. Right. So I think that's very important. Christmas, ever since he passed, it's like I don't do gift giving anymore. Like I give, in the way that I give back is like maybe some community stuff on Christmas Day. Go out there and give and do things.
Right.
Like I don't do big gifts. I mean, if there's, little children, like my niece and my nephew, little kids. But as far as like adults, and because Brian was like a big gift giver, he's like, you want to give. I don't. I just put my money somewhere else, and I really apply new meaning to the holiday.
Sure.
And that's okay too.
Yeah.
Like that's the important thing about like what we are going through, like understanding like what is best for us. You know what I mean? Being honest and true to our grief around those holidays. Being able to feel what we feel and knowing that it is okay whether it is year 1, year 5, year 10. You know what I mean? Because people think like it's been these many, like no, like I still feel that, and I don't want to do anything. I don't want to hear Merry Christmas because my Christmas is not merry. I don't want to hear Happy Thanksgiving because I'm not happy right now. You know what I mean? So it's different for everybody, and that's what's important for people to understand. Like it might hit me this time. Like that's why somebody was asking, like, what you doing? You know what I mean? I said, I have to see how I feel. Right. I don't know. And maybe I might come to the time where I'm like, you know what? I'm celebrating. You know what I mean? And then I will, you know what I mean? But as of now, I still don't know. And again, like it's my son and I. So he's so young, I cook a whole big meal or something. He going to be like, I don't want none of this. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the difference for me. Like, you know what I mean? But again, I did go with my aunt and them for the beach house, to the beach house for the Thanksgiving. Like, and I actually enjoyed myself. Like, you know what I mean? We played Monopoly, we did things, you know. But they let me have my space too. And that's what's important too. Like if you're going on a vacation, allow people to have their space. When they drift off and they want to be, you know what I mean? If they in the room, oh, what's wrong? Let me think. My husband just passed away. You know what I mean? Like it's something, you know what I mean? Like I need that space. Allow people to have that space. Don't be all sad today. Like, if we're sad today, allow us to be sad today. You know what I mean? Like, or for that moment, because sometimes it surpasses. Like throughout the day, you might be like, all right, now I'm up. All right. And don't be, oh, now you want to come out the room. Okay, Mom, I'm going to go back to the room. You know what I mean? Like, let us just have our space. Let us have our moment. Let us confront what we have to confront, the grief, the sadness, how we feel. If we're in a joyful moment, allow us to embrace that as well.
Yeah.
Because it's a heavy time.
It's definitely.
I mean, I think every day be kind of heavy. Like some days are heavier than others, but around those times it's heavy for us.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're like, well, who's going to run to the store and grab this and that? And, and Brian liked to cook. So, he'll run to the store and I'll be the shoe because, I'm.
Right.
I don't really make American food. So if you want me to make some Asian food, I'll make it. But, he was the ones and he loved that. So, yeah, it took a minute, right? But I think going into the 4th year and really taking the grief, because we realized like grief is going to be a constant companion. It's always going to be here. So how do we take this companion and kind of control the relationship of grief, right? Good. What do we do with that? How do we move forward with this grief relationship? So I think for me it was I find myself being more mindful and intentional. Like, okay, the holidays are coming up, what do I want to do, and where do I go, and who do I want to be with that's going to make me feel loved
Yeah.
and not feel weird if Brian comes up or, actually invite that in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's important.
That is
Very
so
important.
important.
Very
Inviting
important.
our loved ones in
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
where we already know they exist,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They exist here with us always and forever.
Always and forever.
So be welcoming, inviting,
Yeah.
and
And don't not give the invite. Send the holiday cards.
And don't get mad if we
I mean,
do
the
not
kids are cute
come.
on the holiday cards.
Right.
I mean, I'll probably save it for a year and throw it out. But yeah.
But just allowing us to have that space, allowing us to be, really transparent about how we feel and stuff. And like you say, when those days come, because like I would do like my best to like shift my energy, like, all right, Kristin, this day is coming. So like, you know what I mean? Like, just
Sometimes your body just reacts.
but
it's a whole
sometimes,
buildup.
but that's
Your
why,
body knows
that's
it's
why I said
coming.
though, sometimes you cannot control it. Like me,
Right,
I'm
you
saying
can't.
certain days I can, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to shake.
Yeah.
But when I can, like I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, this day is coming or something. Like sometimes I'd be like, all right, you're gonna go to here. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I do my best to like work
Right.
on my mind like
Yeah.
a lot.
Right.
Like you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's what I was meaning. Like so when you can, you can. When you can't, you can't. You know what I mean? But
For me, the anxiety of the buildup, knowing it's coming, what are we going to do for
And then you
whatever
guys
it
have
is?
kids,
A
so-
holiday, anniversary, birthday, milestones, all
Yeah,
those.
all of those.
You know it's coming, and it's like the angst of it coming. And then when it comes, it is kind of just like another day.
Yeah.
And then, then the next day. And I
Yeah.
find myself having a huge crash afterward because it was like all that anxiety building up to it.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh,
Whew.
okay, it wasn't that bad. And then like,
right.
oh,
Like thank you,
the
God.
release.
Like,
So
I got through another one. Sometimes that's how I feel like I got through another one.
Yeah.
I got through an okay.
Small
I did it.
wins. Celebrate
Yeah.
those
Absolutely.
small
Day
wins.
by
Absolutely.
day, moment by
Yeah.
moment. Yes.
Yeah.
So
I
we're
think that's very
hoping
important.
and praying everybody is able to enjoy their holidays.
Yes.
Yeah, as best you
And
can.
please give those around you that you know that are grieving
Yeah.
extra care, extra
Yeah.
support, extra
Yeah.
love, extra grace, and extra patience.
And do not be
Yeah.
so judgmental to their grief. You know what I mean? Like if they're telling you how they feel, 9 times out of 10 they really feel like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't make somebody feel a certain type of way for how they feel.
Yeah.
And if they are able to enjoy that day, let them. You know what I
enjoy
mean?
it.
Like let them, because
Give that to
we
them.
want to be able to.
Yes.
Right.
You know, I know I do. I want to be able to enjoy, and you know what I mean. So this year I might do something, and you know what I mean, might kick it, have fun. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be happy about that. I'm gonna be, like thank you to God, like for allowing me to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Enjoy your holidays.
Enjoy your holidays,
everybody.
guys. wherever
Enjoy
you're
your
celebrating.
holiday.
Peace.
Peace
Love
and
and light.
blessings.